Collingwood's Indigenous jumper will honour the life of Maggie Varcoe and the way the footy world wrapped its arms around older brother Travis and his family after her tragic death. Varcoe told his heartbreaking yet inspiring story to Neroli, and a warning, there are images of deceased persons in this story.
Well, Trav, thanks for spending some time with us. Tell me about your sister Maggie. What was she like?
Oh, she was very bubbly. She was very quick-witted. She was very funny. If you ever wanted to have happiness in your life, she definitely lived that life, and yeah, she was pretty amazing.
Were you close growing up?
Yeah, we were a very close knit family. I'm the oldest. We've got a sister that's a year younger than me, and then Maggie and Adam, twins, a year under that. So obviously there was no TV in our house. Mum and Dad, had us pretty close together, and everything we did was always the elder two versus the twins. So,
do you have any favourite moments or favourite memories of Maggie?
Like, she's just funny. Like the way that she could tell a story. Like I'd hang off every word. And I'd hear the story so many times, and I go, "Oh, Maggie, can you tell me that again?" I'd actually end up laughing so much I'd cry.
She loved her footy as well.
She wanted to sort of create her own little story, and obviously didn't want to be Travis' younger sister or anything like that. And we used to play footy in our front yard. Two sisters probably kicked better than what me and Adam did, which was quite surprising. I wish that the women's comp and all that started up back then, because I think she would have been, she would have thrived in it. But she made her own way, and that was something that she was very proud of. I was only able to sort of watch her on the live streaming on YouTube, and one of my biggest regrets was not being able to see her play live, which was pretty heartbreaking in the end. But you always think, I'll get there. But yeah, never did in the end, which was one of my biggest regrets.
When you watched her on the live stream, what was she like?
I was actually blown away how clean she actually was, and actually putting people into time and space, and when she had to put her body on the line, and ultimately, she that's where it came undone for her in the end, which is you don't sort of think about those sorts of things going into a game, but obviously paid the ultimate price. If I could sit her in front of me and talk to me, she would say to me, I'm okay, and I was doing something I loved. That's the way I sort of look at it, and they say the good die young. So.
Do you remember when you found out, when you got the call?
Yeah, my brother called me, which was, I guess the tone and the voice was probably distressing. It's not just a normal, she got knocked out, or, she'll be fine. It wasn't that sort of a tone. It was like, oh, geez. And then she got taken to hospital, and my brother had his two daughters with him, so it was a bit hard for him to sort of, I think it was pretty ugly in the rooms, the scenes. So obviously you don't want your kids to see that either, so he had to sort of step out. But speaking to Maggie's partner, it was pretty horrific. Something that he would never unsee, and to get her to the hospital in the amount of time that they did actually gave us some sort of hope, because if it was left any longer, I don't think we would have had the opportunity to even have a fighting chance. So we did have hope, which was, and to be able to sit there and hope and speak to her. And they do say that you can hear, so, we're all pretty heartbroken.
What did you say to her?
We just wanted her just to fight through. Looking back on it, it was a pretty draining 5 days after, I think. There did come a point where it was, maybe you need to change your mindset and prepare for something a bit different, which, obviously broke my heart. Being there with my partner and my kids was probably my saving grace, and going back to the hotel each night, my partner Kim, even though I didn't want to talk, just probed some stuff out of me, which probably helped me so much in the end, because otherwise I probably would have bottled it up and wouldn't be able to carry on for, up till now, really. Like, she's still, we still talk about her, and you do have bad days, and as long as you're open and you got someone to lean on, I think it makes it so much easier.
When you all made that decision as a family, I imagine, were you all there together? Did you all get to have that moment together?
Dad was a little bit distressed. Obviously when we made the decision, it was from all of us. Maggie and I are the same. It'd be a terrible life to live, to be hooked up to something that's helping you breathe, live, not being able to speak or talk. We wanted to let her rest and you know, be at peace. So that's what we chose. And yeah, so that's for the moment that it was probably a long. I don't even know what the time frame was, but it was probably the longest 5 minutes of my life. Just to let go, it was long, it was hard, but it was the right thing.
Do you remember how you felt walking out of the hospital?
Yeah, it was that piece of you know, that puzzle will never get filled or fulfilled. So I'll remember everything up to date, but it's just it's not empty, it's just half full.
How did you get through that time and play footy at the same time? I mean, everyone was watching you from afar and just couldn't believe the strength that you were showing.
As much as you want the world to stop, it just doesn't. I wish you could put the world on pause for a week or two and just really soak in what had happened, but that's not reality. I had a lot to thank the boys that I play with in the club. It is like a second family. Going back to work and doing something that we both loved, or our whole family loved. I didn't want to let down Maggie or our family for one, and you know, putting myself out in that position too. I felt like I had the capabilities and the strength and the desire to still fulfil what I needed to for the team and for the club, and I did it as much for me as what I did for her. So.
Did you have moments during that final series, whether it was at the club or at home at night, where it was just all a bit too much?
The hardest bit is at night when you got no one around. You know, everyone's sort of moving on with their lives, and you know, you feel stuck.
The goal in the grand final, it became instantly iconic. Talk us through what it meant to you.
It's a bit of a blur, actually. As soon as it came off the boot, it was just like, I knew she would have been smiling, and I don't think I'll ever live that feeling again. At the end of the day, it's a game, and we started it because we loved it, and that's what it sort of finished with, because you love it.
Tell me about Indigenous round and the jumper that you guys are going to wear. It's
pretty special. My sister-in-law, Leanne, has come up with an unbelievable design, and the story behind it is the inner circle is, you know, the players that play. The dots on the outside of that is the staff, the day-to-day people that make up the club. And on the outside of that is our friends and family that support us through, you know, good and bad. And the other part of that is the fans, the community that actually brings it all together.
And the whole thing is representative, I guess, symbolic of the way that everyone supported you through what you went through last year. I mean, inspired by it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it is. And Leanne wanted it to be inclusive of bringing all those elements together. I don't think people ever get over that sort of hurt. They just get better with coping with it. And I think I got used to coping with it earlier because of the people that I had around.
What would Maggie think about the fact that she inspired a Collingwood jumper?
She would be stoked with it. The club got a Guernsey for her signed, and I was able to lay it to rest with her, and she never ever asked for one. Josh, Maggie's partner, he said that was the one thing that she always wanted, and she didn't ever want to bother me with it, which was like crazy in itself. But to actually think that she was a cause behind it, I think would be an even more surreal feeling. I guess when you think about it that way, it's pretty humbling.
That's pretty cool. What will it mean to you to play in that game?
Hopefully I get the chance to represent, and if not, you know, I'm sure the boys, you know, we owe a lot to this group and how they've looked after me. I'm sure they'll carry me out there with them.
Do you have that conversation with Bucks, or is it?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe a passive-aggressive one. Nah, look, you want to have the spot because you earned it, not because it's Indigenous round. Hopefully I get the chance to do it, but if not, I'll still be super, super proud.
Thank you so much for today. I really appreciate it. Maggie sounds just absolutely wonderful. I love the jumper.
No, thank you.